All right, today we're going to talk about 4 different types of blending in order to decode, and then I'm going to give you a few tips for students that are struggling with blending. So the first type of blending is called continuous blending, and it's the gold standard in blending because it doesn't require kids to hold sounds in their working memory. So that looks like this: pin, pin. So we keep our motors running as we're working through the sounds. Pin. And this is what teachers should be modeling for students, is this continuous blending. Another type of blending that may help some students who have a hard time keeping that motor running is called body coda. And the body is the first 2 sounds, P, and the coda is the last sound, N. So it would look like this, P, N. Let's blend it all together. Pin, pin. Then the third type of blending is called successive blending, or some people will call it additive blending. And so that looks like this: sound, P, sound, I. Let's blend those together. P, P. What sound? N. Let's blend it together. Pin, pin, pin. This can be helpful for students who are struggling just remembering each of the sounds of the letters. Otherwise, I wouldn't use that. And then the last way that we can do is called single sound blending, or some people call it final blending. This is a way we do not want to be modeling for students, and we want to get students away from doing themselves, and that looks like this: P, I, N, pin. The reason we want to not model this and we want to get away from it, like I said, is that it requires kids to hold those sounds in their working memory, which some kids can do. But there are many students who just cannot remember what was that first sound, so they end up doing something like they'll remember the first part of it, or they'll remember the last part of the word. So if it's P, I, N, blend, pin, and then they come up with something totally different, pit or bin or fin, because they're not remembering those sounds. So we do not want to model that single sound or final blending. Okay, a couple of tips for students who are struggling with 3 sounds. Go to 2 sounds. 2 sounds, 1 is easier not only because it's just 2 sounds, but it's also easier because that first sound is a continuous sound. So we can hold, all vowels are continuous sounds. We can hold them. I, a, ah. So when we're blending, we just keep going. In, in. And then we could swap out in. Once they have that, we could put in it. And then once they have that, then we can swap in for 3 sounds. But when we swap in for 3 sounds, make sure that that consonant that you're swapping in for is also continuous. So some consonants, like the F, is f. So it's easier to go fit, fit. Fit is easier because this is continuous. Then, for example, this. This is p. I'm not going to go p, it, right? So this is a stop sound. So this is harder because we're going to have to go pit. So this is where that body coda can come into play that I talked about, because we can go pit, pit. So those tips of thinking about starting with 2 sounds, and then when you go to 3, making sure that you're using a consonant like that are those continuous sounds.